I'm going to share with you top 6 hacks that keep me insanely productive 90% of every day, which allow me to get 3 job offers while publishing a paper and winning 2 competitions. These are the same exact techniques that helped me to build over 150,000 followers across all social media platforms while running the biggest career coaching company. So, without further ado, these are the 6 ways that you can become more productive that cost nothing. First, eliminate distractions. Now, what happens? But around you, you have your friends, you have family members, they're cooking, they're chatting, they're drinking beers. Are you going to focus well? Putting yourself in an environment where there's a lot of distraction means setting yourself up for failure. Before you start, what I usually do is I go to libraries or cafe where the only thing I can do is either to drink, which is to hydrate myself, or to actually work. There's nothing else to do, plus there are other people studying and working in the same environment as me, so I felt the peer pressure to actually work on my own project instead of scrolling on social media endless. What I noticed is if you sit at home by yourself, there's no other people around you, then you're very tempted just to put up your phone and go through social media because there's no one else to look over you and there's no accountability as well. And you can get easily distracted to go to the kitchen, to just grab a drink, and sit on sofa just to chill. On top of that, if you sit in a cluttered environment, your mind will also be cluttered, which actually acts subconsciously. So, before you start any big project, make sure that you remove all the distraction. That means turning off notifications from your phone, removing any clutter, finding an environment where the only thing that you can do is to work. This will create an environment where you will have to focus until you get the work done. Second, reframe work as opportunities. Instead of seeing work as chore, imagine this. Your mom is asking you to play piano, to practice piano, and then do piano lessons. If you see as a chore, something that you're forced and you have to do, then it's very hard for you to find the motivation and energy to get going. But instead, if you really enjoy doing piano, you probably even need to be asked by your mom to actually practice. You're going to wake up every day thinking about piano and then go sit in front of piano and just practice naturally over hours and hours that you probably didn't even notice. There are 2 things that you can do. First, pick the type of work that is going to excite you the most. Because by following your natural interest and passion, you're more likely to get the work done. You're more likely to sustain and keep going even though the setbacks happen to you. And second, even though there are type of work that you don't really enjoy, but you want to see it as an opportunity for you. You want to always look at the positive side. So for example, when you work on a project, instead of thinking, I have to get it done in 7 days, I don't like, the analytical side, think of it more of, I get to practice my mind, I get to practice the new skill I have learned from university, and I get to work with other people. By looking at the positive side, this would really allow you to reframe the work you have to do to become the opportunity that allows you to grow. And by doing that, you have the ability to actually reframe anything negative into positive, and that also allows you to bring the energy back and the passion back into the actual work. Number 3, brain dump anything to release the stress. Have you had a moment when I was back in university, I had so much going on because I want to be the person that has achieved different things and also work towards my job application. There were so many moments at that time where I felt overwhelmed and burned out. What I noticed that really helped me to relieve the stress and be much more clear is to literally brain dump anything, everything you have to do on a piece of paper or on your laptop. Because just by writing down things, regardless how big the task is, it gives you that clarity. It allows you to break the thing that is pretty ambiguous and then the feeling which is overwhelming you have into sizable, feasible action and tasks. So that the feeling of overwhelmed and not entirely sure how to approach things and also frustration is broken down, is actually rationalized into actionable steps. Which then brings to number 4, which is prioritization. Now what I want you to do, this also means follow your energy flow. You are going to notice is throughout the entire day of 16 hours that you are awake, there are certain time of the day that you are going to be much more energetic, and there are certain time of the day where you're going to be more laid back, and it's just so much harder to bring yourself together and then do the work. Instead of fighting against this type of feeling where you don't want to do work, you want to chill, you should prioritize the tasks that you have just brain down into and pick the ones that are most important and most urgent, and these are the type of tasks that's going to take most amount of energy from your side. You should prioritize finishing these tasks first at the times where your energy is the highest. Because for the same task, if you do it during your high energy state versus if you do it in low energy state, you'll be able to finish that 3 times faster if you are in a high energy state where it requires more brain power. And you're going to prioritize doing the tasks that are more simple, less energy draining when they're during a time when your energy is relatively lower. So by following your energy flow, and how do you tell? You don't necessarily have to be a morning person. Every person, their energy flow is completely different. You're gonna understand yourself. Some people, they are more energetic during morning. Some people actually can focus more in the evening. So it is up to you to observe where your energy is, how you feel throughout the day, so that you know you're a morning person and you should allocate tasks that are more difficult to complete during morning and leave the tasks to complete in the evening where you're feeling less energetic. Number 5, time block. Now you have understood exactly what you need to do, when should you do it, what are the things you need to do. You then need to give yourself a deadline, because a task is going to take you as long as you define it's gonna take you. So if you give yourself half an hour to complete it, you're gonna finish it in half an hour. But if you give yourself 3 hours to complete it, it's going to take you 3 hours. What you wanna do is indeed to cram your schedule with lots of different things to do, and you're gonna force yourself in this 40 minutes, I'm gonna make sure that I do XYZ, otherwise it's gonna disrupt my energy flow and put me behind the schedule. And you know what? The most magical feeling is when you have finished a long day where you have done XYZ different tasks, and at the end of the day, you feel less guilty, you have completed everything. That is the best feeling you're going to have. Which leads me to number 6, which is schedule some time to recharge. I feel guilty. I wasn't proud of what I was doing to myself. I have been a workaholic since young. I feel like my purpose of life is to work, and I will actually beat myself up if I didn't finish work or if I didn't continue working when I was awake. And that leads me to burnout, because the only thing I wanted to do is to work. I feel guilty when I was relaxing. I feel guilty when I was traveling. So what this does is it created a negative effect, because I wanted to do more work and I did work, but I still want to do more work, so that I feel guilty for not doing work, which eventually traps me into this loop where I feel like I just want to do work and the productivity eventually goes down. But to break the cycle, what I did and what you should have done as well is at the end of the week or at the end of the moment where you completed a big project, give yourself some reward and do schedule time where you completely switched off from actually doing work. And you should go 100% in work and also 100% in relaxation. You don't want to be in a state where you're working, but you're thinking, oh, I deserve some break, I need to relax. And you don't want to be also in the state where you're relaxing, but you're constantly thinking of work. What you want to be is in a state of being present. And you focus on exactly what you are currently doing right now to make sure you do it to the best and you have no distraction, so that when you finish your work, you give yourself reward, you give yourself some time to recharge, and you'll be in a state where you're ready to do work again. If you want to learn how to become the top 3% of applicants and get your dream job offer, check out this video and I'll see you there.